So I just want to say good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Changemaker20. And I do want to start by thanking you again for spending your afternoons with us. If this is your first time, this is a platform where we do get to chat with our subject matter experts in an open forum for all of you to ask questions and speak to them directly. And so if you do have any questions, please leave them down below on our chat. Today, we have Sunjay Nath. Sunjay was a founding vice president of an e-learning company based in Toronto that has gone to become a multi-million-dollar company. Sunjay is also the pioneer of the 10-80-10 leadership principle, which is a framework that allows you to increase your performance and results by focusing your energy and efforts on the highest yielding activities, ultimately to help push individuals and teams to operate at a more dynamic level. So today we are going to be discussing the topic of the ensuing chaos we're experiencing in the world and shifting the mindset of, rather than trying to take advantage of the circumstances, what are you instead doing to improve yourself? And when time is no longer an issue, how are people effectively spending their time? What is everyone doing to grow? So definitely after today, I'm going to have to rethink my Netflix time and probably reconsider that subscription. But Sunjay, before we get into all of that, I did want to ask you, why did you feel that this was an important topic?
First of all, thank you, Daniel. Great to be here. So let me ask it this way, and for people, assuming most people are Canadian-based, but even if you're not, if you're in the northern states, remember snow days? Remember those that day you would wake up high school and you had this test and you were not ready for this test, and you're freaking out. You wake up and the gods have blessed you because you look outside and it's snowing like gangbusters. And you turn on the radio and yes, they canceled school, and you do the jig of joy. You're so excited. You have this day that you can study and you feel good. Then all of a sudden the phone rings and it's your buddy and they want to go out. You got to play. You got to go out and hang out in the snow. And then another buddy calls later and wants to hang out. And this person wants to go to the movies. And all of a sudden, 24 hours later, you look back and you're getting ready to go to school again. And again, you're not ready for the test. You see, right now, this whole COVID-19 pandemic, to me, is a snow day. It's an opportunity for all of us to kind of take toll of the things that we've always wanted to do and have an opportunity to get better at them, whether it's personally, professionally, socially, financially, athletically, spiritually. We have a snow day. So at the end of this, do you look back and say, oh no, what a waste of a couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever, however long it takes? Or do you look back and go, what a blessing that I was given the opportunity to learn and grow in this aspects of my life that were so important to me.
Mm-hmm. And so with that being said, I mean, for a lot of people, they may not have known other options, right? I mean, people may just go to work and go home and spend time with their kids. Now it's a completely different reality. People don't know what to do with their time. So what is your take on those individuals?
Well, I think that everyone has this list of, if I had more money, if I had more time, if I wasn't so busy, if I didn't have to drive the kids, what would I do? In fact, a friend of mine who is an anesthesiologist out of Calgary, she called me. I haven't heard from her in about 15, 20 years. And she said, you know, she's deemed not to be an essential service. And so basically she said, I've got a lot of time off. And she goes, all my kids' programming has been canceled, so I'm no longer the underpaid Uber driver. And she said, and I went and rearranged every closet in my house, and I realized I was doing a lot of busy projects. And she said, I kind of stopped, and I looked myself in the mirror, and I realized that I wanted to make myself better. And she was actually specifically reaching out to me. She's a doctor, often in front of a lot of groups, and she said, I actually want to become a better professional speaker. Now, she's looking at bringing me on to do some coaching with her to help her become a better speaker. But what I thought was brilliant in that whole thing is a lot of people are complaining and whining, going, oh no, poor me, oh no, poor world, oh no, this, I wish the government was doing more, I wish this hadn't happened. And here's the thing is, it's happening. And not only is it happening, it's happening on a global scale like we've never seen before, right? For people that have been in business for a while and remember 9/11 or remember the 2008 crash or the SARS of 2003, what's really unique about this is anyone you talk to is affected by this. Whereas depending on what kind of business you're in before, it may or may not affect you to the same degree. So we're all in this together. What are you choosing to do to make yourself better? And again, it's not that you need to pick something specific. Everyone should be working on their fitness. No, if fitness is important to you, then you work on fitness. If relationships are important to you, then you work on relationships. If organizing your closets are important to you, you organize your closets. So the idea is to look at that list look at your priorities, your value system. What is it that you've always said, I want to do that. I wish I had more time to do that. And for most people, you got more time. So what are you doing with it?
And then with that being said, then Sanjay, how are you looking at the different ways that people are adopting their business models? I mean, everybody is looking at a pivot in some way, shape, or form. And so, for the people that are working or are in business and who do have a little bit more of a constraint time because now they're also working remote and then they're watching their kids. And so what is the direction that they should really be taking in that regard?
All right. And so that's a bit of a prediction question. And I'll give you my 2 cents as to where this goes. And I'm sure everyone's been watching and reading and learning and researching, and everyone has their 2 cents on where things are going. I was just on a call on Monday, and someone was talking about, especially too from sort of the meetings industry, and it was like, this is the turning point. This is the fork in the road. This is that everyone's going to look back and go, hey, do you remember in 2020, COVID-19, and the world exploded? And one of the predictions that this individual had made was, that's it for physical meetings. Everything's going to be virtual from now on. It's going to be virtual, it's going to be the predominant, and maybe sprinkle in a bit here and there the live stuff. And so I couldn't disagree with that more. I think that fundamentally, as much as we need air and water, we need, as human beings, we need that social interaction. So in Canada, a good chunk of the tickets that people have been given for not socially distancing has been around people congregating at parks to play sports. People crave and need that physical touch, that being in the same room. I think it would be a pretty hard sell to tell all the 20-somethings generation right now to say, you're never allowed to go to a club again. You can't go dancing. You can't be within a 6-foot proximity of someone else. And I think it actually completely alters the human experience. So I don't think that physical space and social distancing is here to stay. That's my 2 cents. Now, the way we do it may change, but now maybe all of a sudden when we go out, it's like wintertime and everyone's always wearing mitts and a hat and a mask. But I think it's here to stay. And so, not to downplay by any stretch the severity of what's going on with COVID-19, but I think we will be back to business as usual. Do I know the time frame? Of course I don't know the time frame. But again, if we're making predictions, I would say kind of by the end of May, early June, we're going to see a shift more towards normalcy, whatever that may look like.
But even just going back to earlier, with now that we do have a little bit more time to kind of spend on the things that are always on our bucket list, and being able to make the most out of what we're having on this snow day. But for the people who, and just reframing my earlier question, the people who are still working really hard, the people who now have to work remote, and then they also have kids, how do they themselves get to have more of that opportunity to work on that list or make the most out of their time now if they have even less time than they did before?
Well, and I mean, that can be argued as to whether or not it's less time. There are people, they always say this, right, is if you want to get something done, you give it to a busy person to do it. Why? Because they're better at managing their time and they prioritize and they get the things done. So are people busier? Yeah, people are busier, but people are also less busy. What do I mean by that? I mean, people are no longer commuting back and forth, right? People are now on their own schedule. If they want to wake up a little later, they probably can do that. If they want to let their kids sleep in, they don't have to have that high stress level in the morning of getting the kids out the door to make the bus to get to school on time. And so things are different. I don't know if I buy things are busier. Things are busier if you view them as busier and then you make a list of why you think they're busier. But I also think that things are less busy if you view them as less busy, you make a list of why they're less busy. It's not a matter of being busier or less busy. It's a matter of, is it become a priority? And when things are priority, we always find time and resources for them. So if we look at this again as it is sort of my duty as a human being and as a social citizen to make myself better so I can better prepare myself, better prepare my family, better prepare my community, better prepare my country, and you actually buy into that, then you will look for ways to make yourself better. And again, whatever area of life is most important and most pressing to you, whether it's health and eating better, and a lot of the circumstances are pushing us towards a lot of those things that we've always talked about, like I should spend more time with my family. Right? I should spend more quality time with my significant other. I should look for opportunities to go for walks. And if you look at it, our lifestyle is now dictating that because restaurants are closed, so that's taking out that social aspect of it. We can't buy, in terms of actually preparing meals, we're forced to, in a sense, eat a little healthier because we're preparing and cooking a lot more from home. We have more core physical space with our family, with our loved ones, and we appreciate things more because they're taken away from us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that they're closing parks, people appreciate more just the simple act of going for a walk, because who knows, if this thing escalates, that may no longer be an option. And if I look out my window, I see more people going for a walk, going for bike rides, going for jogs, taking their dogs for a walk, because I think people are starting to appreciate that these are the circumstances we're in. And if we can invest in making ourselves better now, it's going to just help us on the back end of this thing.
And so it just sounds like, and to kind of reframe a little bit of what you're suggesting, it's reframing the way you look at the situation and being able to prioritize what means the most, so that people can look at it in a bigger picture, saying, hey, I have more time in these areas. Although it seems like, now that I have to take care of my kids, there's still a lot that I have to do, but it does open up doors for me to engage them differently.
Absolutely. And not only that, but it also opens up an appreciation for each other and for the world. I read a meme recently that said something about the parent who had taken over being the teacher for their kids at home, doing the homeschooling, and it said, I suddenly realized that the teacher wasn't the issue in teaching my child, right? And so you have more of that kind of going on, and people all of a sudden going, I have an appreciation of what it is you're going through. Again, whether it's through homeschooling or being at home or social distancing or lack of socializing or whatever it is, we're in a place where the world has slowed down. We've been forced to slow down and have a better appreciation. A lot of reports have said that having less people on the road is actually giving the opportunity for the environment to heal itself a little bit. And so, again, everything slowed down. We are more relaxed in theory. I mean, take apart the going stir crazy at home. We're more relaxed. We're getting to spend more time with one another. We're making healthier eating choices and exercise choices. So, yeah, is the world gone crazy? For sure. This is unprecedented times. Everyone says this and over and over again, and it's become cliche. Without question, it is. But what I want to appreciate, people appreciate too, there is a silver lining in this. And one of the best ways to appreciate that silver lining is answer that question for yourself. What is it you're doing? How are you making yourself better? How are you looking to grow in any area of life that's important to you? You have the snow day. At the end of this, are you going to look back and feel guilty that you didn't take advantage of it? Or are you going to feel fulfilled for the gift we were given?
And I do agree that it's a great way to look at things too. I do believe also that parents are getting hit quite hard with this, given that school is no longer there to take the kids throughout the day. And yes, it's an amazing opportunity to engage them more and be a great parent with them now that you have more time. But, I've seen a lot, and I've had quite a few meetings where the kids would come into the rooms. It's very stressful as you're really trying to make sure you have to get your work done, then you're managing them. You don't want to just give them an iPad the whole day at the same time. And so it is a huge juggling act. And I know you're a parent yourself. And so, how do you approach that? How you navigate that? And what are some solutions that you came up with yourself?
Well, so here's the thing: is this is part of the human experience. I have 3 sons, and at any point, at any minute, one of them could walk through that door. And in the normal protocol, that's bad business. That is unprofessional. That is whatever. But that's being human. And so if one of my kids walks through that door right now, oh well. I don't think it ruins the call. Some people going to watch that and go, that's unprofessional? Fine. But I think other people are going to watch that and go, yeah, I get it. I'm there too. It's happened to me. I've been on calls before where my kids are swearing in the background, right? You want to talk professionalism. So that is, I think, is what the mind shift is so important, is again to appreciate that there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfect. That the universe is exactly where it needs to be, and it's helping us remind ourselves of some of that thing, some of those behaviors and some of those acceptances as a society.
Kim just commented, your kids swear. And so I do completely, I understand that as well. But now, given the question, what if you have to cook for them now? What if you have to make sure they're not going and destroying the house? Like, there's a lot of also those equations as well. And so how do you separate yourself from the work to then make sure that you're also taking care of them on that spectrum also?
They are going to destroy the house, and you do have to cook for them, and it's an opportunity to grow responsibility. I had my kids doing their laundry when they were 7. They freaking throw the laundry in. So, I mean, yeah, if you baby them and if you run around and wipe their mouth for them and put them in a bubble, then yeah, this is really freaking super stressful. But if you use it as an opportunity to sit them down and have the conversation that says, look it, you guys need to grow. And part of this is the great gift that the universe is providing us with, that there's an opportunity for growth for you to pick up the responsibility. You know how to make toast. And if I'm in the shower in the morning and you're hungry, rather than sitting and waiting for me going, Dad, I'm hungry, how do you put the toast in the toaster oven and put something on it and eat it? And I tell you, when kids are hungry, and I don't mean that necessarily physically, but I'm hungry for knowledge, hungry for an iPad, hungry for a Nerf gun, they get really interested really quickly. In fact, my 9-year-old has been just jonesing to get this $100 Nerf gun. And he saved up for it, and we're going to buy it last week. And we were on Amazon about to buy it. And then my wife and I had this discussion, and we basically said, it's kind of financially irresponsible to do that in this day and age right now, given the way the world is. Just be spending $100 on a Nerf gun is a little extreme, even though he saved up for the money and all that stuff. So we had the conversation with him, and he was bummed, and he was really upset. And so every day he was like, could I get a date? Can I get today? And I actually had the conversation with him and said, look, Zayden, you can have it when the COVID-19 pandemic kind of subsides and is more under control. And he kind of got that. And what I found cute was every day since then, he wakes up in the morning and he says to me, how are the numbers? And every day we go look up at the internet and we look at specifically Canada and the US, how many new cases there are, is the curve dipping, is it still accelerating? And now he has a vested interest in this pandemic because it's now specific to him and he sees how it relates to him and what's important to him. And let's reverse and engineer that. When people appreciate that by being the best we can be, by being mentally, physically, emotionally in the best state we can be, we'll realize that this is actually a blessing and that there's an opportunity for us to grow so that we can become better citizens of the world to help everyone move forward.
That's awesome. And I just want to thank you, Sanjay. We are running out of time. Just to kind of recap this whole conversation, it was just a no BS approach to make sure you take this time and opportunity to grow yourself. I'm sure it's a hard pill to swallow for some people, and it may get taken a different direction by others. And I think it's some of those conversations I think need to happen because that's what they're for, right? And so time always flashes by, and I always say this whenever we have these calls. But thank you again, Sanjay, for taking part in our Changemaker20 today. For everyone that tuned in, I want to say thank you for spending your afternoons with us. And so this is all the time that we have, unfortunately. But if you do have any further questions or want to book Sunjay for any kind of a virtual event or for his consulting service, I know we didn't get a chance to talk about what you're renowned for, which is the 10-80-10 principle, but maybe we can send everybody a kind of like a quick, bio on that. And so that's something that they can take home. And so, definitely please send Sanjay some questions if ever you guys feel like you didn't get some of those answers today. And you never know, we might have him again next time. And so for us moving forward, we will not be having our Lunch and Learn tomorrow as it is Good Friday. Instead, I wish everybody a great weekend, especially if you are working remote, get an extra day more than usual. And before you may have looked at that as a time to slack off, but after this episode, I feel like you might need to reconsider that. And so regards to next week, we will be having 2 Lunch and Learns instead. We are going to be starting with Dr. Zaina Kayat on Tuesday, and we'll be discussing the power shift occurring, from the healthcare provider to the people-powered healthcare. And we are going through this, what she calls this patient revolution, and how patients are taking matters into their own hands now that they have more information as well as a means of production. So I definitely think that'll be a very interesting conversation that matters to everybody. And so you don't want to miss that one. Once again, I just want to say thank you, Sanjay, and thank you for being here. And for everyone at home, to continue to take care, stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and we'll see you again next week. Take care. Daniel.